How do you scale that business and not just by and not lose the creative aspect?
Yeah, I got it too soon.
Aishwarya Rai Bachchan wore it.
90% of our collabs have been super successful. Everything was handwritten. It was totally like old school, Munim G style.
I am so super psyched, Payal, that you're here at the Style Circle. Circle is beginning with Payal, which is like super symbolic because you are my fashion mom, my fashion mentor. So welcome and thank you for taking out your precious time. I know how much you do in a day.
I mean, the fact that I can be here to see you do something that you have been, working towards for all these years, and finally it's coming to life.
Oh my God!
And be here for it. It's my honor. So thank you for having me.
That's so sweet. Thank you. I'm going to just take a super quick deep dive back to 1992. You were 15.
Yes.
You were this, college girl from SNDT. You had designed this outfit. And I mean, that's not it. Like, it keeps going on. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan wore it. It won the outfit of the year. You got that Chrysalis award. It was amazing. I want to know, at that time, right? How do you keep the excitement of dressing up Aishwarya Rai from what you're doing? Because, you need to keep your art and your craft absolutely to point.
So, see, when you're that young, first of all, you kind of don't understand the importance of what's happening or the weight of what's happening. So I was actually just out of school.
Crazy.
I was in the 10th standard. I was not even in fashion school yet. Yeah.
Okay.
When I got the award.
Well, 15.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I just finished 10th and I'd gone for my summer holiday. And this is before social media and, digital Instagram. And all. So we got a letter under the door because the house was closed for a month. And it said that, you have been selected as a finalist for the Shopper Stop show. Just 2 passes. Because, honestly, it was just so new.
Yeah.
So my dad and me went and Aishwarya Rai walked out, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was a Miss India at that time, but she was not a Miss World.
Okay.
It was that
1992, right.
But yet, having her walk out in that outfit
it's a big deal.
Was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then being called on the stage as the winner, I mean, it was surreal. So, at that time, what I'm trying to tell you is there was absolutely no understanding of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I look back, I'm like, maybe I got it too soon. And then I learned the value after a few years, right? And even with SNDT, I won the, most elegant collection of the year.
Right.
And by then I knew, because by then I had studied fashion for 2.5 years, and then I wanted it, then I was hungry for it. So that time it felt like being rewarded for my hard work.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's the beginning of the journey which you asked me for.
Right.
So I'm just saying, when you're young, you don't realize, but the gravitas of the situation is only when you look back. Oh my God, that was a big deal.
But hold that moment, because I do want to ask you, what would you tell that 15-year-old girl today? Because I mean, today things are just absolutely, they're so dynamic, totally volatile. Every day something new, a new app. Now you can change filters. So much is going on, right? But what would you tell that 15-year-old girl today?
So, I have a 16-year-old now, and I would tell him what I would tell myself. And I mean, I do tell him. That's what I mean. So he wants to be a film director, and he's got all these opportunities because, we are connected with the film industry and all. And I want him to value it. I want him to give it his 100%. I felt like I had these opportunities, and I did take some seriously, but some was like, it just happened to me. I really got serious about my career, and we've discussed this,
of course,
on
too many
many
times.
phone conversations, that after I was married and I had moved to New York, was when I was like, oh, I'm a designer and I actually have a label. Till then it was just like things were happening to me. So I think I would tell my younger self that be grateful for these opportunities, because everyone doesn't get them. And one of the things that I want to do now when I want to give back is to create those opportunities for people,
That'll be amazing, because actually we totally lack an internship culture, which I loved in my days of New York. Where, you can just apply and people actually are ready to receive you. They're ready to take you seriously and not just be like, listen, what do you know? It's like,
actually on this topic,
Yeah.
I want to talk about internships. No, we're deviating, but I
Yeah.
think it's interesting to touch upon it.
Absolutely.
Because we're talking all things fashion.
Yeah.
So, we don't have an internship culture in India for a reason. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'll explain to you. So, in the West, what happens is you have this very structured internship program, because also the employer knows that you can't just do a 6-week internship or whatever and go out there and start your own label.
Right.
Because it's extremely expensive, resources are not easy. You still have to work with factories out of the country.
I know where this is
etc.
going. I know where this is going.
And since you wanted all the BTS, I have to add this in,
Yeah.
that we have burnt our fingers doing these
Right.
things when we have like kids coming in and leaving in 6 weeks with your contacts and your infrastructure details and everything. But having said that, to create it in a way where it's a learning program,
Yeah.
where you have the learning that I can give and impart. So I do it in different ways,
Right.
where I actually do it with universities or through my work with women's leadership, that we inspire, we give them the right infrastructure where it's ethical both ways,
Yeah.
Like you are getting to learn as well as we are being protected with our interests.
Right.
So yeah, it is my endeavor to create an ethical internship program.
That'll be great.
Not just in fashion,
Yeah.
but a lot of industries.
Because
and
I feel like
fields.
even in schools, there's no conversation about, like there's career mapping and
Yeah.
there is counseling.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was graduating from school, I was like, what do I want to do? Wait, what, fashion? Okay, who do I talk to about? There's nobody, there's no information.
Absolutely.
Of course, now there's just so much exposure. So
Yeah.
kids who are just on the internet will get to know.
Yeah, but there's no guidance.
But there's no guidance.
Yeah.
And then there is no programs. So like
So
you
one
rightly
of my
said.
biggest complaints with fashion schools in India
Yeah.
is that like they prepare you. So that was another learning curve for me.
Yeah.
Because I started very young and I just went to fashion school with
Yeah.
no business background.
Right.
Except for the fact that I'm half Banya, half Marwadi. Because my
Which-
favorite dialogue is I had... Yeah, and I
It's
grew
inbuilt.
up in a business family.
Right.
I had no understanding of how to do business and I'm learning in my late 40s.
Yeah.
So I really, like, this is my pet peeve. This is something I'm trying to help influence with whatever little bit power I have.
Yeah.
Is that please try to teach fashion designers how to be fashion entrepreneurs.
Right.
Because there is a big gap between
gap.
the two. Like,
Yeah.
I am actually learning things in fashion school like tailoring and embroidery stitches, which, believe you me, I am never going to use. I have not used in 25 years.
Correct.
Except for knowing the name of the stitch because I did it in college.
Right.
I had no other use
You don't
for
actually use it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they never taught me how to do costings of garments,
Yeah.
or how to pitch to stores, what kind of markups to work with,
Yeah.
markdowns to work with, how to scale up my business.
It's like trigonometry in maths.
Yeah.
When am I going to use it? Why
Yeah.
do I have to learn it? But then, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think like it's very important because moving on from that, my question would be that, like you started your label in 99 and you moved and you did all these things. But then how did you grow that business, right? Because it is still today a family owned
Yes.
business, and proudly so, because we don't see many like that. We don't see, and thriving too. See, because I feel like sometimes when you have like a small little family label, then you're just doing whatever you can in your capacity, but you're not like that. Like you have, I think, 10 posts a day, 50 stories a day, and it's really hard to catch up with that. But the fact that you have that and so many stores, numerous stores that your label is in, I think that is really important for me to also know, and through this podcast talk about, is how do you scale that business and not just by and not lose the creative aspect.
Yeah.
Because you can't do both. You need to balance in. And is maybe that where Nirvan also steps in, or is that something?
Yeah. So I mean, so for the audience to understand, so because I was so young when I started the business, and my parents had a garment manufacturing business.
Okay.
But I never wanted to join that because it was ready to wear and it was not designer, as you put it.
Right.
I mean, my dad designed, but it was more mass produced.
Mass produced.
I wanted to do in those days, I was like, I want to be Suneet Verma,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
I used to love him.
Yeah.
So whatever. So I told my dad I want to start my own label. So my mom came in as my business partner.
Okay.
Because obviously I had no understanding, as I just said, of finance or
Of
learning.
the business part of it.
Yeah,
Right.
or the business part of
Right,
it. So
right.
she handled that for me, and I was just handling the designing part, and I was creative director, which I still am. After I got married and I moved back to India from New York. But for the audience, New York is where I met Priyanka, and
We'll come back to that story.
Yes,
that's
we have
very,
to.
very
We have to.
interesting.
And my husband and me moved back, and he was looking to start something in India, and I said, just can you try this
Yeah.
before you do your own thing, because he was into financial planning and data and stuff. And I said, we could use that in this business and I'll give you partnership. So he dangled that carrot and he said, okay. And it's been 12 years.
So you made him that offer that he could refuse and he hasn't left. Great.
I think once you taste blood, it's like, as an entrepreneur, it is so exciting. People don't understand what entrepreneurship is till they haven't tried it. And once you do that, you can't go back.
Like tasting
I really see very few people being able to go back. So anyway, what happened is before Nirvan joined the business, I would call it, I mean, it's still a mom and pop shop, I feel, because it's my mom and pop shop. But I'm saying when he came in, we didn't have a POS system. Handwritten challans were being sent to like stores.
I remember those days actually, but I know what you mean.
We didn't have inventory count. Everything was handwritten. It was totally like, old school Munim Ji style, okay? And my mom would have like her little specs down and looking at,
balancing,
handwritten accounts and challans. And Nirvan was like, I don't know what you guys are doing. And then, of course, social media happened and whatever. So I would say we have scaled up, A, very organically. B, we have adapted to new technologies and moved with the times. We haven't been hesitant or resistant to it. Remember, we were both working with exclusively.com around the same time. And Sanjay Guleria, who owned it, would call me up and tell me, Payal, so much resistance from Indian designers to go online. I'm talking about that time.
That was 2011.
Yes. And we just come back from New York and we knew exactly what was going to happen.
What was online, you're right.
And whatever. I remember coming back and he was like, can you talk to some of the designers and tell them, copy hoga, but you'll also get so much more business.
Right.
Exposure, it's like a double-sided sword, you see, coming onto social media. Yes, more people see your designs, but also you get more people come to know of you.
Right.
So we moved with the time. And I think also building it with, a value system where we were not kind of overexposing ourselves or not overdoing something. And honestly, and I tell you, this is the truth. I haven't thought about it. I haven't looked at any formula. I haven't copied anyone else's business. It was all very instinctive for me. Growing from 0 to 10 or 100, whatever you want to call me, where I'm at, is very easy to do as long as you just remain consistent, work hard, put your head down and work. The real challenge in scaling up is to go to the next, 100 to 1000 or 10 to 100.
Right.
I'm in that phase right now and it's a very uncomfortable phase. It's difficult now. But this was easy because you have a product, then you start to get demand. So you expand according to demand. You go to multi-brand outlets, you get in your label, you start to have a few flagship stores. We also started to do a lot of collabs, which helped us to build the kind of audience, And a lot of people sometimes wonder, why are you doing so many collabs? A, it is again instinctive. I love those products. I endorse them. I haven't ever worried about how big the brand is or how small. Do I like the product? I go for it. And I think to answer your question, it was very organic. But yes, Nirvan, who came in as CFO, helped us a lot in getting structured. And that structure created the ability to scale up.
Right. And I think like that, I was going to talk about collabs. I'm glad you brought it up because I feel like there's such few designers who do that. And I don't understand why, because you have the creativity, you have the scalability, you have already people who would love to work with you. It's actually a matter of you finding something that you love and, something that you can do with them. So I think you have, I feel like I can count almost 15 collaborations that you may have done. And so do you have something that's very close to your heart? Like your first one was with Bombay Shirt Company, right?
Yes.
So, but even then from that to now Lavi, which is your latest, do you have any collab that you absolutely still, like you want more of it?
So, everybody says it like you can't pick a favorite child type of a situation, but there is a soft corner for Fizzy Goblet.
Okay.
The
jutis and the bag.
Now, of course, Lakshita, who's the owner of Fizzy Goblet, it started with just jutis.
Right.
And now she has a full footwear line, handbag line, and I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
I mean, she may not think of me as a fashion mom, but I think of her being a fashion.
You have a lot of fashion children roaming around. A lot of nurturing projects, which is amazing.
I think I love that too as part of being a fashion entrepreneur. So just like you, I met Lakshita when she was very young, and I think we are in our 9th year of collab with Fizzy
wow.
Goblet. I'd walked into a pop-up, it's called Vintage Garden in Bombay. And
I love Vintage Garden, by the way.
Run by my very dear friend Aarti Patkar.
Oh my God, the best time.
Yeah, and she curates these young brands, and her curation is the brand should not be known, you know. And I was walking around, obviously, because she's my friend, I would always spot, and I saw Lakshita there making these, and I said, hey, will you make mochis? I'll buy them off you for my show with my embroidery. And she did it. And then she comes to me. So I'm trying to tell you how innocent and organic this was.
Correct.
You know, sometimes those are the best collabs.
They really
those are
are
the best things that happen to you in your life. And she said, do you mind if I sell these? Because they're so pretty and under your and my name, and I'll give you a royalty. I said, sure. There was no contract. There was nothing.
No paperwork, nothing that you want.
It was just
those
she
are
and I
amazing.
talking. And like I said, we are almost in our 9th year.
That's amazing.
And today, Lakshita has Kareena Kapoor as her brand ambassador.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's something.
Where her business is. I'm her fan. I call her up and tell her the kind of businesswoman she is. It's incredible. So the reason I have a soft corner for that collab is because of how it started. The kind of mutual admiration we have as brands for each other, and how much I feel being someone older than her and senior to her have learned from watching her. You know, and I think every collab of mine has happened very truly, I'll tell you, from an emotional place. I'm not endorsing that. I may not be right. 90% of our collabs have been super successful. I'm not going to lie.
They've been all over the place. Absolutely.
And no, in terms of sellout, because that's also important. Also remember, in collabs, we are working with higher numbers in terms of quantity. So it's very important to have a good sell-through. But there have been 10%, I'm not going to lie, that have maybe missed the mark in terms of product or pricing or audience, right? But they're all close to my heart. They're all done with a lot of love. I over-deliver in my collabs because I'm like, okay, you put this in contract and on paper, that's fine. I'm going to do that anyway. But now beyond that, it's my love that
I know why you do that. Because you are so passion driven and you love projects. You love classes and you love projects. Sign up Payal for a class and she will outdo everybody. She will take exams seriously. And you're like this person.
I'm super nerdy.
You're very nerdy when it comes to, especially when it's creative, then it's like, you know. So I know why you do that. And I think like I see that in your collabs. Because even a collab like Joey and Pooh, I mean, it was so cute that I feel like I think, and I am just talking on your behalf now randomly, but I feel like I don't think you could even resist that because it involved kids, it involved these cute hairbands. So it was, all your collabs have been really, really cool. You were also one of the first few to take your brand from India, straight planted directly in Manhattan. And I mean like right there on Lexington Avenue, right? And that is where we met. So our story, which is fairly historical in its own, which is insane. So I was in FIT at the Fashion Institute of Technology, heading this Indian Cultural Exchange Club, and we thought that it'll be so fun that, you know, we should have an Indian fashion show. Why not? All the girls are looking like models. Half of them are designers. They're all creatives. Let's just put it by the student, for the student. That's what it was. The most random email I have got in my life is Payal Singhal store opening, New York City. I don't know how I got it. I have no idea how that email has reached my inbox. I don't, because you remember, I just walked into your store opening in Manhattan on Lexington Avenue, and I was just like, hi, I am so-and-so, and would you like to be the judge of that fashion show? And I think the reason why I remember this moment so clearly is because you were excited beyond belief. Which is not, you know, I didn't perceive that. You get it? Like, I came from a point of view where like, God, I don't know what she's going to say. And she's going to be like, listen, I have a store opening. What do you expect me to do? I'm not going to run to some judge, But you were, on the other hand, very, very receptive, right? You were just like, oh my God, are you serious? Oh my God, I would love to do that. Oh my God, FIT is my dream.
And I was so humbled.
You were just so, and which is, I think, I feel like our circle of this mentorship and friendship and everything sort of began there. You came to FIT, you judged the show. I don't even remember who won. I just remember that you had
an Asian guy won.
God, you know it. I don't even remember it. I was just too excited that whole project went through. And I remember we did that fashion show twice over.
Oh, wow.
Once it was called Urja. The other time it was called Ada. And the third time also we named this some very artsy, fartsy name. We thought we were so cool and bringing Indian culture to the scene at FIT. But that's how we met, and I started working for you.
Yes. So I have to pipe in now,
Yes,
because you
please.
have said so. Priyanka, all of 19 years old.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so for you guys, 19. Okay, I was so impressed because, see, you have to understand, I grew up in Bombay, and from a very protected, like,
Yeah.
Banya Marwadi family.
Yeah.
Like, my dad didn't even allow me to come for undergrad, for undergrad to America. So I actually worked at MTV as a stylist, collected my own money, and went to Parsons
Wow.
on my own, because my dad wouldn't allow me to go because it was so conservative. So for me to see a 19-year-old come confidently to me, as at the store launch, and ask me to do, of course, first of all, it was extremely prestigious. You're underplaying it. That, I mean, for me also, I was also not that old. I was like 28, 29 years old, right? We're 10 years apart. So
now
everyone should know, we talk about it all the time. That to be so confident. Like, I remember when I got married and I moved to New York, I would tell my husband, "Can you order the sushi?" And he'd be like, "Why can't you order it?" Because I didn't have that voice to be able to, like, feel confident in another country. So I was so taken with your confidence, and you're a very, like, easy personality. It wasn't like you were being, like, arrogant, or you were being too subservient. Like, you were just like, "Listen, would you like to do this?" Or
I was nervous AF.
Okay,
I was
but
like, you're just going to say no. You're just going to say no, and I was ready for you to roll your eyes on me, to be honest. You're like, "Listen, hello, I was store opening and you're coming in and inviting."
You are a classic example of fake it till you make it, because I was like, this girl, I feel like I can't say no to her. She's so confident.
That's awesome.
But also, I feel like it was serendipitous as a meeting. And I remember, like, right after the event, I asked you, I'm like, "Listen, Priyanka, do you know anybody?" Because everyone in college kind of wants to earn that extra buck, to, like,
absolutely,
pay for, like, their shopping and whatever. And I was like, and I honestly did not know you, your last name, nothing. I knew nothing about you. I think, "Do you know anybody who would be interested in, working part-time at our store?" Whatever. And you were like, "I'll do it." And I was like, "Really? You will do it?" And then, of course, that fantastic career, that kind of journey, what career started with us. And then you went on to study and work with Urban Outfitters and then anthropology. And then I was learning stuff from you.
It was amazing.
And I mean, I would love to tell people what a big fan I am of yours.
And
so sweet. Like, for me, I joke about this sometimes, that I have 2 or 3 friends who are much younger than me, and it makes me feel like Karan Johar, because I keep myself young by having,
I love that.
I think every time I do something new, I first run it by you, because your opinion matters to me.
That's
from
really
2
kind.
points of view. It matters. One is, I know I love your design aesthetic, and I know that you have the best intention for me as a brand.
Always.
Because you are not just a friend, you truly love the Payal Singhal label.
I do.
And you are a true PS girl. Like, what I think of as the PS girl, and we must talk about the PS community, which we will.
It's coming up.
Is you. And secondly, is you're younger. And honestly speaking, as we grow older as designers, it is important to refresh your point of view. Because, it's like, look, as we know, we're in fashion. We're not in some heritage building community. So we have to know, like, what's in today is out tomorrow. So it is important for me to get, a younger person's perspective. So you've always been, that's our journey, like you said, started at FIT, went into us working together, went into a mutual admiration society and friends. And Priyanka, you have helped me and been there for me no matter where, whether it was any launch in Bombay, to any launch in Delhi, to being there for my shows.
Oh God, am I turning pink?
To promoting my shows, to being there to advise me for every single collection, to, like, I will never forget, in COVID, we were sitting with no work and no business, and Priyanka was inventing work for me. She's like, "We are celebrating this event, and we'd love to do PS gifting." And it was really something that meant a lot to me at that time. To believe in our brand, and I think that that we are very grateful. But I think in fashion, to have real friendships and to have real honest conversations and relationships, it's rare. And that's why I value this so much.
Thank you. That's really sweet. And now I've officially turned pink and heating up. But I just also want to go back to New York, where I feel like I learned so much at your store. I learned how to drape a sari. I really did. And drape it quick. like, the customer's waiting and I'm just quickly trying to show her. Those kind of things, I think running a store and watching you run the business with your business partners, Karima and Salima, they've helped you through and you've helped them. And, it was so, it was really a really good learning sort of opportunity for me. So I'm actually really happy, like going back to your 15-year-old self, I'm happy I took that opportunity and I want people to do that. Like, I feel like this avenue, the style circle, I'm starting for this. So we talk about things where, it is important to seize that day.
Yeah.
It is important to reach out, and it's okay if they'll say no. What's the max that'll happen?
Absolutely.
Right? And I really do believe in it. I feel like till you don't ask the question, you don't know the answer. And that's as simple as that. But in New York, when you were doing all of this and you're, brand building and stuff, and then you decide to move back.